All right, so the plan is to get the toes glued onto the feet. So I'm going to mix up a bit of this epoxy. I'm not sure exactly how much I'm going to need, so I'm probably going to end up mixing a little more than I need. It is 5-minute epoxy, but I'm going to end up letting it sit a bit longer than that while I clean up the rest of these pieces. And I want it to sit longer so that it has time to really set up, so that when I'm actually assembling the legs and attaching the legs into the feet, I don't have to worry about the toes essentially coming out of position. So let's see. I'm gonna get this going. Got some paper towel here just in case. I'm not really sure how much. That should be plenty. And a little more. All right. Draw it back a little. Hopefully, it doesn't matter which side's which. Should be a minor enough amount. Let's see. Let's get that out of the way a little. Use the little wood stir stick it came with, at least this time. Just says until it's a consistent color. So you want to make sure you do actually mix it thoroughly, though. Any pockets of this stuff that's not really well mixed really don't end up sticking together very well. All right, and then try to scoop all this to like one side here. I have a little metal spatula that should work really well for applying the epoxy with precision to the edges of the toe. And it'll be better, I believe, to put the epoxy on the inside of the foot opening rather than the outside of the toe. It's on the outside of the toe. Just wipe that off and I can use it again. On the outside of the toe, as I push it in, the epoxy will get pushed off. So if I put the epoxy in here as I push the toe, and it basically is going to get packed into the joint even further. So maybe it should be a little bit on both surfaces, but I do not want to have much on here because I really don't want to deal with a whole bunch of epoxy squeezing out and getting all over this beautiful cast. So start with a little bit. I want to make sure the surface is pretty well covered. And then we'll grab this one. We'll add just a little. And as you can see, I did coat my surface here. That's pretty nice. With some parchment paper. And parchment should be nice for this because it really, maybe if that toe is going to come off, maybe not off. The parchment should make it so if any of the resin does, or epoxy, ooze out, there won't hopefully be any chance for it to stick to the parchment paper. And as a few more of these get into position, it should really lock it into place. And then I can just let it sit while I do some cleanup on the next set of pieces I'm going to need. And while I do that, this should end up being or having had plenty of time. Oh, that one came out. To set up all the way. I'll get a little bit on this. I think for the next one, it might be a little bit easier to put all the glue in the toes or in the foot and on the toes, and then just get them all set together. All right, make sure all of our toes are flat on the ground and everybody's pushed into the foot as well as I can get it. I think that'll be very nice. All right, they all look really good. Slide that guy out of the way. Grab our next set here. So again, 5-minute epoxy, this once it's really cured, and the full cure time is more like 24 hours. Once it's fully cured, it should, or from what it says, take up to like 3,700 pounds of force. So if anybody puts that much force on this model, they're really probably going to break other stuff. But at least from what we hope, the plastic itself should break considerably before these joints. And the plastic is really strong. So this thing should last for a long time. All right, that's one. It's already starting to get a little thicker. And I definitely mixed up more than what I need, but I don't really care. Actually, these plastic cups are still left over from when I did my Iron Man helmet. And that it was a Pepakura fiberglass resin and all that. That was a fun project. I still, one day, really want to build myself a Darth Vader helmet. Always wanted an awesome Darth Vader helmet. So that might have to be one of the builder guy projects. One more. Very nice. We have just a little bit of squeeze out around just about everything. So I'm going to clean off the spatula here. And then I'm going to go back to this guy momentarily and see, most of that's actually really, really minor. I'll clean as much of it as I can off. And then anything that really stands out from there, which there really isn't anything. All right, that one's good. This one's got a little bit more in a couple spots. These toes are actually just a little tighter on this one. Boy, it's actually starting to gel up just a little bit. All right, well, it's actually pretty reassuring that it sets up pretty fast, because once I do assemble the legs, I don't want to have to worry about it falling apart or needing to hold on to it for half an hour. So that sets up pretty good. I think those will be easily ready to go by the time I can clean up the rest of the pieces that are going to kind of finish off all the leg joints, the pistons that go in the back, and all that. So between these two larger connectors back here, there's going to be a big piston. Then there's essentially piston pieces that connect from the ankle down to all the foot toes or down to the toes. So I'll get that all cleaned up, and then we'll get the leg pieces glued together.